Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdom video. My name is Legend Ronnie and today I'm going to talk about KvK 2 pairings, and I'm also going to prepare my alt account for KvK field battles. Before I'm going to go ahead and start with the pairings for KvK 2, or pairings that works pretty well in KvK 2, I'm going to upgrade my Alexander, and I'm also going to show you what pairings I will use on my alt accounts for field battles and why I'm doing those pairings, trying to talk a little bit more in details. As a commander that I want to use in KvK 2 and I have a command to be used in KvK 2 is Alexander. Now, in order to get Alexander where I want, I need to upgrade his skill a little bit. My plan is to go 5-5-5-1, so I need to upgrade his stars for a little bit. Need to get him to second star and upgrade his second skill. His second skill is very important. I do have like 500, so I could definitely go maybe a little bit more. But 5-5-5-1 I think is pretty solid. I will max skill him in the end, but for the moment I just don't have the sculptures to go more in Alexander. So once I will be able to get more sculptures, I will make sure to upgrade him accordingly. So there you have it. The commander is 5-5-5 right now, and obviously I'm going to unlock his 4th skill, and I still have 171 sculptures. Now, if I would really want, I could go another 2 more skills in Alexander, then I would have like 21 sculptures, and maybe struggling a little bit, I could be able to squeeze in some more sculptures, maybe max skill him before the battle starts, or before the level 4 passes open, when it's going to be the first battles, I hope. Maybe we're going to have allies in both sides, so we might not have battles on the level 4 passes. It can happen, but I believe the plan is to probably have a little bit of action when the level 4 passes open. Everyone wants to fight. If I manage to get the sculptures until then, maybe if we get a more than gem or some event, I will make sure to try to get the sculptures and maybe expertise him, because if I expertise him, I can do rallies. I could do Alexander and YG rallies because I have the experience and everything I need to get him to 6 star and level 60. So there you have it. 5-5-5-1 Alexander is a very good start for Alexander the Great. I also want to make sure that by the time we go in KvK 3, I have some sculptures saved up, because I have plans for Guan Yu. As you notice, he's 5-1-1-1, so definitely want to max skill Guan Yu in the end as well, but hey, sculptures are very limited, so one step at a time. Once Alexander is going to reach level 60, he's definitely going to be a primary commander. My plan is to go Alexander primary with Sun Tzu as a second in command. I believe that that is a very solid pair, so you have AoE value and you also have infantry. You'll have Alexander leading, which is pretty solid as tanking in KvK 2. Maybe in KvK 3 you want to change the things around a little bit, but I believe that in KvK 2 he's pretty solid as far as I have seen players using various different marches. The second march that I will do is obviously going to be with Saladin. Either Saladin and Ethelflaed or Saladin and Double C. I'll have to see a little bit on the trades, which one will provide me better trades. My Double C is pretty high up, 5-4-5-4. But on the other hand, some debuffs from Ethelflaed, considering that there's going to be a lot of infantry. So Saladin and Ethelflaed is also a very good and solid pair that I should bring to try to debuff some of those infantry to be able to take them down easier. The third march that I'm going to use for field battles is going to be the first try, KvK as leading. She's not max skill yet. Hopefully I'm gonna get another Sevroli by then and I'll be able to max kill her. But she's going to be the first try. KvK first with YSG as a second in command. If it works, it's fine. If it doesn't work, I have Elcid, which is level 60, 5-5-5-2. So I'm going to put Elcid primary and YSG as a second. I was also very much thinking of bringing Charles Martel on the field. Equipment can be changed from commanders, so that's totally fine. Maybe Charles Martel and Mehmed, Charles Martel and Sun Tzu. That I could probably do an Alex and Mehmed. That would make me bring 4 marches on the field, but the problem is the equipment. This is the best infantry equipment that I have. On the other marches I don't have so solid infantry equipment, so I'm also thinking from that point of view. But definitely can also be a solid way how you can make more marches. My Charles Martel is 5552, so as long as it's 55, Charles Martel can go to level 60, because you need the 4th skill, you don't need the 3rd skill. And you can put as a second either Sun Tzu or either Mehmed or either Ethelfled. So these are all solid combinations that can work with Charles Martel. Because my Mehmed is 5534, so it can definitely work. Either Alex and Mehmed, Alex and Sun Tzu, then I can put either Charles with Sun Tzu or Charles with Mehmed. So what I'm trying to bring is as much AoE as possible to the field. And if I do pair Ethelfled as a second to Alexander or as a second to Charles Martel, then Saladin could also put as a second Babers. So that's also a very solid pair that I can use with my caps to try to bring even more AoE, because that way you will definitely help up your team when you have the murder balls. And if you don't have so many commanders, Pelagius is a very viable option to be used in KvK 2. Pelagius and Babers, Pelagius and Double C, even Alexander with Osman if you don't have a YSG or if you don't have various other pairs to use. Alexander and YSG is also a very solid pair to use in KvK 2, but I really want to use archers because I have very solid archer equipment, so I believe they will have an impact. That's why I'm trying either Keira or El Cid with my YSG rather than just pairing Alexander with YSG. I know they are very solid and very good. Other pairs that you can do for KvK 2, it's obviously Constantine is a commander that also available in KvK 2, Richard. So you can do Richard and Alex, Richard and Ethelfled, Richard and Charles Martel if you really want something tanky. But to tell you the truth, Richard and Charles Martel, you're just tackling people left and right, you're not going to do much damage. So I wouldn't really look into Richard and Charles Martel. I would rather try to split them apart. So if you do use Richard on your KvK 2, you want to put him primary and you want to put as a second in command a commander that helps you and does some damage. And I already mentioned about Alex, even Mehmed can be second to Richard. There's nothing wrong if you have a 5511 Mehmed just to get more AoE on the field. If you do bring Constantine on the field as well, you can bring either to buff either your allies or buff your own marches, or you can bring AoE second to Constantine. If you're not using your Sun Tzu already or some other AoE commanders, you can definitely put them as a second to Constantine. Now, to give you 5 marches that will probably work the best in KvK 2, I would go with El Cid and YSG. I would go with Edward and Tomiris. I would go with Saladin and Genghis. Then I would bring Richard and Alex. And I'll bring Charles Martel and either Sun Tzu or Mehmed. That would be the 5 marches I'll probably do. Or if you're not very happy with Charles Martel, then even Minamoto and Double C can also work as your 5th march. And that can bring you to some very solid 5 nuking marches that you can bring in KvK 2. Now imagine when you're debuffing that target with Tomiris, I have her over here, with her 4th skill, and then you start having the skills popping in from all these commanders, you're definitely going to do a lot of AoE value. And if you're really not happy with Richard and Alex, I already said about Charles and Mehmed, you can bring the Alexander and Mehmed. If you bring Minamoto Double C, you can bring Alex and Mehmed or Alex and Ethelfled. That can also work. Then you have Saladin and Genghis. Then you have Edward Tomiris, El Cid, YSG, and you have your Minamoto Double C. So there you have your 5 nuking marchers for KvK 2 if that's something that you're interested in. A lot of combinations can be done, a lot of combinations work in KvK 2. Even Frederick can be introduced somewhere in there if you're lacking some of the commanders that I mentioned, maybe an Alexander and Frederick, or maybe a Saladin and Frederick, or various other combinations. Frederick is very universal, can work with a lot of marches, or as a second to a lot of marches. If you really want something tanky, then Julius Caesar can be involved, but just being tanky doesn't really bring you kills. So you want to make combinations like putting something very tanky, primary, and then putting something with damage as a second. That's why El Cid first, because as part of the Asher commanders available in KvK 2, he's probably the tankiest that you can use in KvK 2. Edward and Tomiris is for utility because they debuff. Diao Chan can also be used if you're not having so many legendaries, right? You can put Diao Chan as a second in command because she's integration, you don't want to use her first, and peacekeeping. but as a second in command, you can get quite a decent amount of damage out of her. Either you want to do a Sun Tzu and Diao Chan, Babers and Diao Chan, Pelagius, or you want to do some Eulji and Diao Chan. You never know, maybe you're really lacking legendaries and all you can do is bringing epics. But at that point, I would really advise you to try to resume to less field battle marches, rather than starting to bring commanders like Scipio and various other commanders that are a target and just fill up your hospital. Hermann, for example, it definitely helps to bring him if you have a Hermann Kusunoki or if you have a Hermann YSG for field battles. Probably I'll even try at some point Hermann or Kusunoki, see how they work, to try to bring more AoE either with YSG or some other marches. But you need to have solid equipment. And I can guarantee you that Hermann will be a 100% target because it doesn't have any kind of defense. So that's why choosing your pairings for KvK2 is very essential, so you don't just fill up your hospital and spend a lot of speed ups and resources, and then that will reduce your capabilities of keep battling and field battling. I would say that as free-to-play low spender, or probably even medium spender, as solid as you can get 3 marches, it will be more than sufficient for field battles. If you're a medium to high spender or very high spender, then yes, you need to bring 5 marches and try to bring as many legendaries as possible, and obviously try to demolish as many marches as possible. But for myself, with Saladin, Elcid or Keira, and Alexander leading, I think I will have 3 solid marches. If I really want, I could even do Charles and Alex, but I want more AoE. So for that reason, I'm probably gonna bring 4 marches on the field. My decision is with 3, but I might bring 4 at the start, see how things are gonna play out with 4 marches with a lot of AoE, and then I'm gonna draw more decisions later on, depending on the resource consumption, speed up consumption, try to be more efficient. Because obviously Charles Martel and whichever AoE march I'm gonna use is definitely not gonna bring me so high value on the field battle, because Charles Martel himself is not doing a lot of damage, is most likely just protecting my AoE march. But who will I put as a second? Most likely would be Mehmed or Ethelfled. I will see how things are gonna play out and how solid they will be. If I manage to max kill Alexander, there will be an extra plus to try to get more of these debuffs on the field. It will definitely help me out, especially when I try to take down some of those infantry, because if there's going to be any well with some legendary equipment and roaming around with Richards and Charles Martel, he will be almost unbeatable, almost. So having more debuffs, Ethelfleds and buffs on the field, it will definitely help out to try to take down those targets. As part of the resources or speed ups for KvK2, like how many you should always have as many as possible, because the more you have, the more you can use. Or people are asking, how many should you use? Well, you play games to have fun, so as long as you're having fun, you use as many as you have. At least that's what I do. I don't really check my speed ups and resources when I field battle. I just try to have fun and try to have as much fun as possible. So I hope that answers some of your questions. If you still have questions about KvK2 pairings or KvK2 field battles, you can definitely drop them in the comment section below. Now, as part of rallying or garrison in KvK2, as I heard a lot about Saladin being very powerful in KvK2, either for rallies or garrison, Saladin with YSG, and various other combinations. Charles and YSG is very common, but from what I know is not working as great, and apparently Saladin is doing better. I even heard something about El Cid and YSG working. Sun Tzu and YSG is a very common garrison pair as well for KvK2. Maybe there is a couple of more, but it's been a while since I've done KvK2. As part of rally, I know that Alexander and YSG is the most commonly used because they are very powerful and very defensive. So I will see again if I can max Alex or not to be able to rally. But hey, if not, I'll definitely wreak some havoc on the field battles. Other rally composition is obviously with Saladin, YSG, probably Saladin and Genghis. You have Edward and Tomiris. Edward and YSG also very solid rallies. Probably even Genghis and Saladin, not just Saladin and Genghis. I've seen Alex and Charles Martel being used in rallies, or no, that was Alex and Charles Martel being used in some situation if there is a lot of infantry, because as a garrison you can do Charles Martel and Constantine in KvK2, which is very solid and very defensive. Can even take probably some archers if you have some crazy ass equipment on those commanders. Charles Martel and Constantine can surprise you as a garrison in KvK2, but again, equipment plays a very important role, buffs, city skins, and so on. Wu Zetian cannot be used in KvK2, I know that for a fact. You just can't use her. I mean, if I can, I'll definitely use her. She's a plus. She's a beast in KvK2, but from what I know, you can obtain them from KvK2, and they kind of banned her from KvK2 because it was making no sense. Players migrating and being able to use something that you barely obtain from that event. Any more pairs or any more combinations that work, I'm pretty sure people will post them in the comment section below, so make sure you check the comment section below for more information. I also believe that Kusunoki and YSG might be an asset to use archers in garrison, both being garrison commanders. We will see how things are going to play out and how far we will have to go with garrisons and field battles. When I was in KvK2 with my other account, I even used Belisarius for field battles because it was cav and I needed debuffs. Attack reduction, defense reduction, and as a second in command to Belisarius, I was using Barca with full cavalry. So there was debuff from Belisarius, and after that it was debuff from Barca. So there was 2 seconds plus 5 seconds, 7 seconds of debuff. So there was pretty good march. The march itself was not giving me a good trades or a lot of good trades. It was either even or bad trades, but it was empowering my other 4 marches. So I was aware that this march is not giving me good results, but it was giving me a lot of benefits. Same situation would be if I bring, let's say, a Charles Martel and an Ethelflaed. I know the march itself will not bring me a lot of benefits, but I will have the Ethelflaed debuff on the battlefield. So I hope that makes sense. There is situations when some marches you don't really have to consider them, whoa, why should I even use this march? It doesn't really give me good trades. You have to think about the benefits that will bring you to your other marches. Right, yo, that's pretty much about this video. I hope you found a lot of interesting and good pairs for your KvK2, and you're gonna smash your enemies and your opponents on the field battles, rallies, and garrison. Until next time, this is your boy Journey signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. See you on the next one, and stay safe out there, my friends.